What's up everyone, and today you join me back at Medan Quantum to review the Porsche Panamera 4S. It's a 2017 model, so let's jump right into the review. We're gonna go step by step as always. Exterior design first, interior design next, and finally we're gonna do the engine. After all that, I'm gonna conclude the video with my general opinions, and we're gonna hear the engine itself start up and the exhaust tune as well. Design wise, the Panamera 4S is just updated to look more modern and futuristic. Porsche has implemented their LED light system into the front LED, so you've got this quad style in it. It just looks really nice in my opinion. Rear lights also have been updated slightly to look more reminiscent of their new Porsche line. So it just looks much more modern and futuristic, as I've mentioned, just makes it look much more unique as a new Panamera 4S. When it cruises around, you realize that it's very big and basically just wide in general, so it looks like a brutish car driving and cruising around the streets around you. Furthermore, Porsche has adapted a new system. It's called the Porsche Active Suspension Management System. Basically has adaptive suspension. What adaptive suspension means, when you're going on the road and there are bumps or potholes that you find on your way, the system itself will adjust the suspension accordingly to keep your journey very smooth. Furthermore, we also have the park assist as well as lane keep and lane change assist. So just much more artificial intelligence in the car, making it more futuristic and much more smoother when you drive. Now let's talk about the engine itself. What's under that hood? The engine is a 2.9 litre V6 twin turbocharged engine. Horsepower, it's able to produce 440 horsepower at 6,600 RPMs, while Newton meters are 550 Newton meters at 5,500 RPMs. Figures of 0 to 100 km per hour, you've got 4.4 seconds, while top speed is a little under 290 km per hour. Moving into the gearbox, we have the 8-speed PDK dual clutch gearbox. So Porsche have put in their unique PDK gearbox into this car as well, just making it more sporty while you have more comfort in it. So if you want to take it on a track and basically push it to its limits, you can, with obviously your paddle shifts instead of an automatic transmission just flat out for cruising around the streets or on the highway. So we've completed the exterior as well as the engine specifications. Now let's move into the interior. This is one of the best parts of this car. The interior is very high tech. We've got screens almost everywhere, all bits and pieces put here and there just to make it feel more futuristic and more modern. Porsche has put this far beyond any other car when it comes to just basically bits and pieces to mess around with and to control within the car. Let's talk about the center console. We've got a magnificent screen here with a HD display. You've got all your things that you need. You've got basically the home button here. You've got your time, your modes for your chassis. You've got your radio as well, destinations, volume settings, and so on. You can even control the central vents through the screen. You've got media for your radio stations, phone where you can call whoever you want just through here, basically a hands-free system. Navigation for your map. Then we've got also the driving modes. So driving modes you can choose from normal, sport, sport plus, chassis as well, normal, sport, sport plus, and so on. So basically there's a lot to go through. If I'm going to go through everything here, this video is going to be about 20 minutes long. Furthermore, we've also got the center here where we've got your gear stick, just basically just to change which modes that you want. You've got your parking brake and just these small buttons here really feel satisfying to touch. When you touch them, they make a small clicking sound. Even though there's no click to it, it just feels very nice, like the iPhone 7 button, basically just something to compare it to. Now on the driver's side, we've also got the steering wheel. The steering wheel is actually the 918 steering wheel. You've got your mode to change here, of course other buttons to mess around with the screens here. In the center where you've got the driver, the center is just an analog, however the right and left are screens. So you can change your navigation to be on your right side or your left side with other meters to basically check your tire pressure as well as suspension and different modes that you're on. Then of course with every Porsche Panamera that you have, you've got the panoramic roofs. This one has two of them, one on the front and one on the back. Things to mess around with for the panoramic roofs are over here. You can either open it up, close it up, and then you also have the covers to control them, just to close them up on very bright and sunny days. However, the mirrors and basically the glass around you is slightly tinted, as well as it's actually soundproof, so you don't have to worry about sounds coming in from the outside or sounds getting out as well. As for storage on this car, there is no shortage of it. You've got a glove box on the passenger side. You've got this small, just look at it, it's weaved firstly in carbon fiber, which is very nice. It's got the Panamera emblem on it, and you can store something like coins or whatever you need. You can even put your phone here and keep it open just to keep things safe. You've got cup holders over on a medium side as well as a large one. Then you've also got this final glove box or compartment in the center where you can store a small notebook or anything you need, a USB port to charge up, and a lighter over here. So basically, like I've mentioned, no shortage of storage on a car like this. Now let's move on to the back and talk about what the back features are. Before that, I want to talk about the seats. The seats themselves are this nice type of style which looks sporty in it, and as well as the leather is very comfortable to sit on. So comfort wise, it's very comfortable. Let's head to the back and talk about what features there are in the back seats. Out we go. Stepping into the back, there is no shortage of legroom. There's a lot of legroom, and I mean it, a lot of legroom. You've also got a screen here in the center just for the passengers in the back to control stuff like climate, as well as some drive modes as well if you need to. So basically, you really don't have to disturb the driver when he's driving. Of course, you also have this small compartment here where you have 2 cup holders and another USB port to just charge your phone. You've also got this one here, which is just a center area where you've got a glove box and just somewhere to put your arms. Just an armrest, which is very nice. If you don't need it, you just push it back in, and that's it. So just again, this Porsche is basically riddled with a lot of technological factors as well as comfort here and there. Now, as I've mentioned, the car has a sports mode compared to its comfort mode, and that does 2 things. Firstly, the suspension goes substantially lower, so the car sits much lower, and the exhaust note becomes much higher, basically reminiscing somewhat of a sports car feel to it. Now, to do so, you've got one of 2 options. Either you go through the dial in the steering wheel, or you go through here. You go into your drive settings through the navigation system, and you've got your modes here. You go through sports mode, the exhaust tune changes, and you see that a red line is there in the sports exhaust system. As well as to change the suspension, you just go to low, and realize it even shows you that the suspension is now low. Finally, also you can even bring up the spoiler when you come out here. When you go back out, you go here and you see the spoiler settings here. Now the spoiler is lifted up and represents it in that small 3D model. So it's very nice, basically just to make it simplistic, and you can see everything changes instantly. Thus, to conclude the video, I just want to talk about my opinions of the car. So like I've mentioned throughout the review, this car is riddled and full of high-tech gadgets and things to mess around with. The screens to work with, basically just the buttons to mess around with as well. Compartments where to store your stuff is just immense. You've got a lot of places just basically to store your items. Comfort wise, very comfortable, and when it comes to driving, you've got a lot of modes to choose from. In general, for a luxury sedan, this car is pretty much spot on. So if you want one, I'd say go for it. It's a very magnificent car to have and just ticks a lot of boxes. So let's start up the engine and listen to the V6 roar basically. Now, as always with these new high-tech cars, you've got to put your foot down on the brake and the key needs to be nearby, either in your pocket or in the glove box itself, or one of these storage units. Now, as always, you just have a small switch here to flick to the right when you want to start up the engine. So 1, 2, 3. So as you've heard, the engine sounds really nice. The exhaust note is magnificent for a V6 engine. You wouldn't expect such an exhaust note from such a car. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share the video if you want to, and thank you for watching.